So in my previous video, I introduced to us what public participation is. I talked about the definition, where we narrowed down to the easiest definition of public participation is involving the public in making decisions concerning anything that needs to be done by the government or any other stakeholders. Yeah, so that is what we said, public participation. And I promised us that I'll take us through the proposed draft of the Public Participation Act. Basically, we have the definition which I gave us in my previous video, and today I want us to take us through the objectives that are contained in that policy document. So what the policy document is all about, it wants to make sure that public participation is done by both governments. We know we have the national government and also the county government. So they want to put up a policy which will guide the two governments in doing public participation. So it has almost 9 objectives. Objective number 1 is to ensure that citizens continually access timely information on public issues in a language and a format that is easy to understand. So in a language and a format that is easy to understand. So if we are doing public participation, we make sure that the citizens access this information timely, not the word timely. Like what I was saying yesterday, you don't give me the information today morning and you want me to make a decision on it this morning. Number 2 is to provide a framework for coordination and enabling environment for non-state actors involved in civic education. So basically it's talking about civic education and coordination by other non-state actors. All those people, the ones we are saying stakeholder involvement, that all the stakeholders that are involved are guided. And then number 3 is to undertake coordinated and integrated capacity building towards empowering responsible citizens and public institutions. Objective number 4 is to promote effective public participation in planning, budgeting, and implementation of approved plans and budgets. Very important. Number 5, to promote effective participation of minorities and marginalized group at all levels. You remember yesterday I was saying, yes, you can do public participation, but you omit some groups. You omit the youth, you omit people living with disabilities, you omit marginalized group. Yet these policies, yet these laws, yet these what do we call them? These bills, these budgets affect such groups. So when you're undertaking public participation, it will always promote effective participation of minorities. Number 6 is guarantee adequate, secure, and sustainable funding for public participation. Yeah, that has been a challenge sometimes. Like, for example, you are putting public participation in a place that is inaccessible. People need to be brought to that place. People need to be facilitated and all that. So this policy will do that. It will give guidelines. It will guarantee adequate, secure, and sustainable funding for public participation. And then number 7 is to promote well-resourced and updated and effectively implemented monitoring, evaluation, and learning systems for public participation. We don't just do public participation and leave it at that. We monitor, we evaluate. Has it given us the fruits or the results that we desired? Then number 8, promote responsive, functional, and timely feedback and reporting mechanism in order to build confidence in public participation process. And then lastly is to promote effective handling of complaints. Like, for example, the latest public participation that we've had is we had people having divergent views. We wanted this public participation, the topic to be this and this. We wanted a certain question to be included in that public participation. So our public participation policy will have all those things. So these will be the objectives, the 9 objectives that both the national government and the county governments will use, will seek to achieve when making public participation accessible to people, when making sure that public participation is done in the right manner. So there are also guiding principles to public participation. So public participation, according to this policy paper, and which I like, by that I've gone through it, I like it. The guiding principles for public participation will be: 1, sovereignty of the people and equal opportunities to all. Number 2, right of every individual, group, community, and organization to be involved in decision and policy making process. Principle number 3 is provision of adequate and effective mechanism and opportunities for participation for those interested in or those affected by decisions. And number 4 is consultation between the 2 levels of government in line with Article 6(2) of the Constitution, and building relationships with non-state actors, meaning the county government, the national government, and other non-state actors will have to consult amongst themselves. Then guiding principle number 5 is inclusion of minorities and the marginalized group, including women, youth, elderly, people living with disabilities, and children. Yeah, that one is self-explanatory. Number 6 is non-discrimination and accommodation, respecting diversity, people's value, culture, needs, and custom. Yeah, you don't segregate. You don't choose who is to come into your public participation. You give everybody, every citizen, a chance. So long as they are willing to participate, they are given a chance. Then we have timely access to necessary information in a language and form that is easy to comprehend, including accessible formats to people with disabilities and through media that is accessible to the public. That is good. And then we have provision of civic education and the development of necessary capacity for public for the public to effectively engage. And then we have principles of leadership and integrity in chapter 6. Yeah, it's also a guiding principle. We have national values under Article 10 is a guiding principle. We have provision of adequate funding for public participation. I've explained it. Adequate monitoring, evaluation, and learning and feedback mechanisms. We've talked about that. After public participation, what next? We monitor, did it achieve, did it not achieve? If it did not achieve, what need to be corrected? Adherence to principles of devolution and separation of power, very important. When you are doing public participation, we know where is our line, so that we do not cross the line between the national government, the county government, the non-state actors, and all that. And then access to remedial measures in cases of dispute. And then respect for the principles of child participation, including child-friendly environment appropriate information, and non-intimidation. So these are the guiding principles for public participation as enlisted in the public participation policy paper that is being developed by the Office of the Attorney General. This is just a draft. I know maybe, but it is a good thing, because these principles, if well followed, then we'll have a very good public participation. We'll have very good time adequate information and all that. And when we have a good public participation, trust me, policies that are being made, projects that are being implemented, laws that are being proposed, bills that are being proposed by the parliament and all that, it will be easy to be accepted by the people, and the people will not feel burdened by anything. Otherwise, we'll meet in our next video as we talk about Kenya's experience with public participation, and also what are some of the challenges that have been encountered during public participation. Stay put. We are here because public participation is a gray area now, and it is one of the most important thing in any law, bill, and all those things being made by our parliament, by the government, and other non-state actors. We need to have a clear understanding of what it is, and so that if we see something is not being done right, we can easily call out and say this public participation has been done, but it was not done in the right manner. Thank you. Stay put.